Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ServiceNow Pilots podcast. And today we are going to talk about another special component. I believe this is one of the most crucial components when it comes to the ServiceNow implementation, ServiceNow projects, ServiceNow change management, future enhancement. And the topic of today's meeting is testing, or maybe quality assurance would be a better wording for that. And with me, a special guest, Girguś. Hello, how are you today?
Hi, Marcel. Thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty fine. Pretty excited to talk about today's topic.
Me too.
Before we jump into the testing world, could you please tell me and our listeners out there, who are you and in this ServiceNow platform world, and how come? Could you please tell us about yourself a bit?
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Przemysław, as you have mentioned, and I'm a QA ServiceNow engineer for like 6 years now. So that's my experience in ServiceNow. In general, in QA fields, it's a bit longer, but for ServiceNow, it's 6 years, and I have done many various tests in ServiceNow, starting from manual tests through automated tests, and I have also done some other roles other than QA.
Wow, 6 years, that's a huge experience from you. And also you mentioned a QA, which stands for quality assurance as well as testing name. Could you just please tell us more about what stands behind the quality assurance, especially in the ServiceNow world? Who is a quality assurance specialist / tester?
Yeah, so let's start with one thing. There is a difference between a tester and a quality assurance person, let's say. So a tester will be a person who will be running tests, right? Whereas quality assurance would be a role that it's not only about physical testing, but it's also about processes, about organization of work related to quality assurance field and so on. So let's say that testing is included in quality assurance. Quality assurance is a bit wider term.
Okay.
And,
yeah. Please continue.
Because you asked the question. So QA or a tester is an integral part of a project, not only in ServiceNow, of course, but in ServiceNow as well. And the task and the responsibility of a QA is to validate that the application under tests meets the requirement, and let's say it's free from bugs. And it's the quite usual, I think, definition that people say that testers or QAs, let me just say testers.
Okay.
It will be easier.
Yeah, it will be easier.
That testers, pick holes and point fingers and raise bugs. And that's the crux of their work. But I look at the responsibilities of a tester from a bit different angle. I like to think that a job of a tester is to make sure that the application under test meets the requirement, and that tester is a kind of a bridge between business and developers who come from a bit different worlds, and sometimes this communication between business and development team is not that easy. And I think that a tester is a kind of bridge that makes this communication smooth.
Okay, so that's great that you are mentioning the difference between a stereotypical tester and when it comes, because this show is mostly and mainly focused on ServiceNow platform and everything that's that's surrounding this topic. Could you please, from your own experience, tell us the main differences between stereotypical testing of a just normal or legacy application with regards to the ServiceNow worlds?
Okay, so I wouldn't say that manual tests that we do in ServiceNow are very different from any other application, because manual tests are manual tests. Of course, ServiceNow has its own architecture, but it's quite obvious, I would say, like any other application. But I would say that things get more interesting when it comes to how ServiceNow is released, because as you know, there is a new version of ServiceNow that is released, let's say, every half a year.
Yeah.
And customers need to upgrade their instances. And it doesn't necessarily happen every 6 months, because a customer may skip a version or two, but still this upgrading is something repetitive. And this requires testing, the holistic testing of the whole instance, all the processes, and all the applications or portals that customers have and use. Well, basically, you need to test everything when you upgrade your ServiceNow instance, and this is a great opportunity for test automation. And automating tests in ServiceNow is something that is maybe not that typical, because ServiceNow has its own native framework for test automation that is super easy to use. Actually, it doesn't require any coding skills, at least to start. But on the other hand, it has its limitations. So that's why it needs to be integrated with other external tools, external to ServiceNow, I mean, to get the full coverage of automated tests. And this is quite unique for ServiceNow.
Yeah, and you're mentioning automated testing framework, which is
yes.
Yeah, when it comes to a non-technical person like me, I would say, so why do I need people to do that? So where in this whole process of testing, of quality assurance, regarding a particular application or project or anything like this, where should I look, or where is the human part in this process?
So yeah, when we stick to QA field, the human part is to come up with testing scenarios, because to automate tests or even to run manual tests, firstly you need to have some kind of scenario to follow, right? It's not that you go into the application and you do anything just for sake of doing anything, because it wouldn't make much sense. Of course, exploratory testing is important. Sometimes it's crucial, especially when you don't have much time for exhaustive testing. But in general, yeah, the human ingredient here is to prepare those testing scenarios, create them, and then maintain them. Because automating tests, it's not something that you do only one time, because in the future your application may change. For example, you have a flow of something, let's say incident, but you add some interim state to your flow, and then all your tests will start failing, going red, because you will have a new state. So yeah, you need someone to maintain test cases as well.
Okay, so the human part is to create those scenarios that you put into the ATFs or automated testing frameworks, and then to maintain it and check the status of the application itself.
Sure, because when automated tests are run, you get some kind of a report. It's either red or green, and when it's green, it's okay, you don't need to do anything. But when it's red, meaning something failed, you need a human to go and check what happened. Is it the bug that's occurred? Is it the problem with the test? Was it like a one-time glitch because something died and the test wasn't run? You need to check.
Okay, that's interesting. And regarding to the concept of testing of the itself, I've heard the sentence that many applications are actually tested on production. which I believe from your perspective, this puts a huge question mark, and why do people do that? But if you could tell us from your experience, what are the most common mistakes in that sentence, and why shouldn't we go through that process?
I don't know if you've seen it, but we even have the meme with our ex-president saying that, you should go and test in production because the production is the best environment to test, and users are the best testers. It's not true. I hope such situations are rare. Because it's one of the things. I mean, I hope it's rare, but I know such things happen. Hand on heart, I participated in such things as well, but that's a long story. But in general, this shouldn't be happening. So the role of QA is to make testing before any application goes live. The role of a tester is to test it as good as possible. Of course, testing everything is not possible. I mean, if it's a really simple application, then maybe it is. But in terms of ServiceNow, we are not talking about very simple applications, so testing everything is not possible. But we as testers, we try to test as much as possible and as good as possible, so as not to have situations that some things are tested in production by end users. So this is one of the things that sometimes happens, but shouldn't be happening for sure.
Okay, but how can it impact my instance? From your perspective, as you were in many projects, as you delivered many go lives, and you tested many applications, and also you experienced the situation when there was sort of lack of testing due to, I don't know, many reasons, like lack of budget, time, or just you need to meet some deadlines, which is obviously today's world. But if you could just from your memory, from your perspective, tell us how it may impact the ServiceNow instance that you have at the worst case scenario that may happen.
Yeah, sure. So the thing that comes to my mind in the first place is that you hand over some software that is bugged. It's not, the acceptance criteria requirements are not met. It's bugged, and when the application is given to the customer in such shape, then of course it must be somehow amended. So the costs of fixing bugs that are found in production, some kind of hypercare that can be extended in such situations can be high. So in the first place, we can think about the budgeting, that cutting the costs in the early phases of a project, maybe doubled, tripled, or whatever after go live. So that's one thing, but that's not all, because the other thing that may happen is, let's say, a reputational loss. When you
reputational
loss. Imagine a situation that you hand the software to your customer, and then you have some serious issue related to, I don't know, some legal or some security, then you risk a reputational loss that, for example, especially for bigger companies, such mishaps, let's say, will be spread all around the community, let's say, and you may just lose a reputation.
Okay, and it's great that you are mentioning the compliance part and the legal and cybersecurity part, which are a crucial topic. So when you deliver an application with many breaches, many losses, many mistakes, it may occur those breaches when it comes to the compliance and security. So
that's true.
So I believe from the instance health perspective and from the data that it is should be protected, it is very important to prevent from those bridges.
True.
And when you're working within the particular project and you are in the delivery team, what types of information, what do you need from the delivery team or the business itself to be sure that the testing will be conducted properly?
Well, so the most crucial aspect is having the information related to how the application should work. That's why let me please emphasize that's why it is so important to include a tester early in the project, because when you add a tester to a project when there is already an application that is waiting for testing, then it's far too late. Because one of the things that testers do is also gathering requirements from business.
Okay.
And asking questions how things should work, because in the first place a tester needs to be sure how the application should work and therefore how to test it. And the other thing is just being a part of a team when those requirements are being formed. Because previously I mentioned this being a bridge between the business and the development team, and this is related. So yeah, testers need to understand in the first place how the application should work, so they can run appropriate tests.
Okay, so a proper documentation and being involved in the backlog creation process. Yeah, it would be ideal.
In the ideal world, yeah, that's the scenario that we want to follow. Yeah.
Okay, so bearing that in mind, the knowledge that you have, then you can pursue the testing scenarios properly to give to the business.
Yeah, and you may even, sorry to interrupt, you may even start working on automated tests, because when you work in the agile environment, let's say run agile projects, then you may then of course the presence of a tester from the very beginning of the project is obvious, and it's not that you need to wait for the developers to finish their task so that you can start testing. You can do many other things around, and for example you can start automating tests. Of course they will be failing before the application is ready, but that's the idea behind test-driven development that we follow. That you create tests from the very beginning. They will be failing, it's obvious, but at some point they will go green, meaning the application is okay.
And how does it work? Because this is the first time that I'm hearing the test-driven development, which means that you are simultaneously working on the test scenarios while the development is being made.
Not even the scenarios. Of course, that's something you need to start with to have the scenario. But you may start automating your test, meaning writing code before the code of the application is ready. Of course, you will have placeholders for the elements, for example, on the page, because they may be non-existing at the time you are writing your test, meaning your test will be failing. But then when the application is handed over to you, you will just copy the element that you need, you will add it to your test, and the assumption is that then your test should go green, meaning pass.
Okay. So, and this is common. So this approach is commonly used right now, and this is like a new approach when it comes to the quality assurance.
It's difficult for me to tell if it's widely used or not. I know it's difficult to implement. To be honest, we also struggled with our first try. We failed because it's difficult to implement. It's not even always possible because it depends on the maturity of your customer, of how their processes are set. also on the budget because it's costly, but it is possible. So yeah, coming back to your question, I'm not able to tell you whether it's widely used or not, but at least from my I don't know, let's say people I know from IT world who follow this approach, it's really beneficial to have it implemented.
And would you recommend this approach to a particular type of project, or maybe the velocity, or not velocity, but the volume of the size of a project? Would you recommend this approach to a certain group or something?
I think it would make more sense to have it implemented for bigger projects.
Okay.
That will be longer. That will with every, let's stick to the agile development, that from sprint to sprint will grow bigger. Then it would make more sense. Maybe for smaller projects, it would be difficult to implement for really small project because it also needs time, some kind of polishing of your process to have it implemented and in place.
Okay.
But for bigger projects, I bet it's worth it.
Okay, so for example, a huge HRSD implementation,
Yeah,
it would
or
be
ITSM.
okay. It would be beneficial to implement it from the beginning, to include it.
And especially when your applications will be customized.
Okay.
Because when you have something out of the box, maybe it wouldn't make that much sense, because when you have things out of the box or close to out of the box,
okay,
well, then the assumption is that also less development and less testing will be required. But when you build something from scratch, or when something is heavily customized, then it will make much sense to implement this test-driven development.
Okay, that's very interesting approach, really. And yeah, when it comes to the testing from your perspective, when it comes to many project sizes and so on, what are the most common mistakes regarding the quality assurance processes that you have encountered in your experience with the ServiceNow projects?
Okay, that's an interesting one. So yeah, I think we have touched upon some aspects like testing in production, or including a tester too late in the project, meaning when the application is already waiting for testing, then you get some ad hoc tester who has no knowledge, no experience in that particular project or a customer. Then it's too late. It's also a problem. But maybe some other thing that I would like to mention and emphasize, it's also somehow related to what we have already talked about, but it's not investing in test automation, because we spoke about those upgrades of and releases of ServiceNow, and testing the upgrade is something painful for a tester, especially when you go to the instance that you don't know the processes. It's heavily customized, and it's really a struggle to test it, and test scenarios not always exist. Then it's a struggle and it's painful, but all that could be avoided with some avoided, or at least maybe the problem would be decreased with some decent test automation. So I would say the problem or a negligence is not investing in test automation, because test automation is costly. But in the long run, when you can reuse it to test your processes and all your workflows and portals and all the things that you have in your instance, in the long run, it is beneficial. So investing in test automation as early as possible is something that it's not always happening, but in my opinion, it should be happening.
Okay. Thank you for that. And especially when we you mentioned the automated testing framework. Also this year, and even somehow before that, when the machine learning has been introduced to the ServiceNow world. Now we have this generative AI topic, which is coming to the Vancouver release.
True.
And that gives me a question that what, from your perspective, would be the potential future of the testing frameworks when it comes to the artificial intelligence input into the ServiceNow world? How it may change, and how your perspective may change from the one that you have right now.
Yeah, I think the testing is already changing because of AI, but I think it's just a start of this journey. I mean, it's not only about testing. All the things in IT, not only in IT again, are changing because artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all that things. But when it comes to testing, yeah, I think this new wave, new journey has already started. Yeah, because many things can be handed over to AI. For example, the creation of test case, because previously I said that tester is a person responsible for coming up with a testing scenario and then automating this. But I don't see any reason why this couldn't be handed over to AI. I mean, for now, not all things can be done automatically by artificial intelligence, but we have already started, and I think in the future, why not? Some things can be handed over to AI, and I think those will be. So yeah, maybe coming up with a testing scenario basing on the requirements that you have from business. Of course, there will be some points that will need to be met, like maybe they will need to be written down. I mean, the requirements, maybe they will need to be written down in some given form. Maybe not, but then I don't see a point why they shouldn't be coined into working test scenarios and automated test scripts by AI.
And have you seen any recent updates regarding especially when it comes to the Vancouver release, the updates regarding to the testing processes?
Not really,
Okay.
not really in terms of ATF, but I have checked this generative AI that you have mentioned, and it looks awesome because of course there are many benefits also for end users of your portals, let's say, for agents who will be using this administrative part, I mean the backend part of ServiceNow, but also for developers, admins, testers. This generative AI looks super awesome because it makes, for example, developing, because for now it's about developing. I do believe that such things will be implemented for ATF as well, but for now you can use just the natural language to develop in ServiceNow, meaning you don't need to know the syntax of ServiceNow to create your own scripts and application. You may just naturally write what you want the given workflow, business rule, or whatever to do, and then it will be automatically translated into the language, the coding language that will be understood by ServiceNow, and it looks great.
Yeah, so maybe in the Washington release, there will be major updates regarding the testing scenarios.
I can't wait. I hope so.
Yeah. So yeah, just for now, they're mainly focused on the development part, but crossing my fingers that will make your life easier in the future, that you may use it in the real world. So that's great. Okay. So just to sum it up, what we've talked about. So thank you for telling us the idea and the concept behind the quality assurance and the meaning of that, and what impact it may have when you don't put enough emphasis or focus on this topic. Also, what lack of testing may cause to your instance, and I believe it is a great start for the testing conversation in the future. But before we end this episode, I would like to ask you one more question related to the ServiceNow world, because as you mentioned, you've been working in this environment for last 6 years. So what do you like the most about ServiceNow platform itself?
Okay, so yeah, one of the things that I like most about ServiceNow is something that I actually mentioned a moment ago, meaning that it's a low code / no code platform, and people who are not that technical, who are not developers like myself, can just go to the instance and start creating their own applications. This is something that is great about ServiceNow, and yeah, this is something I like. And the other aspect would be, yeah, how it's, how ServiceNow, let's say, develops or progresses from one version to another, and how new things are being implemented. On my example, to ATF, this automating testing framework, it's not that every release is super awesome, but there are crucial changes that are being implemented, and yeah, I like that people from ServiceNow see this need and how it is desired by the development teams working in ServiceNow.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. I really like especially this last question, because each and every of my guests gives me completely different answers. So I really like this, because we are all working the ServiceNow world. ServiceNow platform is the main topic even for this podcast. And each and every guest, each and every topic gives me a completely different answer. So I really like this this question. And I'm really thankful that you've been here today in our studio for sharing your experience, sharing your ideas with us. And I hope you will join us soon in the other episode related to testing, or any other topic that you have expertise in related to ServiceNow world. And thank you to our listeners out there, to our ServiceNow pilots. If you have any comments related to testing, ATFs, or any part of the ServiceNow platform, please leave a comment below, and we'll be more than happy to answer your potential questions. And thank you for being with us today. I hope it was very inspiring for you. Maybe you're hearing this before entering a project, so it may cause another budgeting before that. And thank you, Przemek, for being here.
And thank you, Marcel, for the invitation. It was a pleasure.
Great. And see you in the next episode.